Hey everybody, one project I've been wanting to do on the Firebird is to take this Diff cover that we got off the Camaro last year and get that installed on the Firebird. Just to, keep everything up. This axle, I believe, leaks from the pinion, and I'm not quite ready to do all the brakes, conversion, the cables, and all that. And it's been a few years since I did the gear oil on the Firebird. So I got new Lucas oil, and we got this cover, and I thought it was just a cheapy aluminum cover, but if you look real close, it's actually a Mack rear diff cover. So we're going to clean it off because it's sat here since probably July. June. Sat right here since June or so. There's the axle we got for free early last year, or the year before. So yeah, gonna get this off, try to get it on the Firebird, and at least keep that little 10 bolt alive for a while. Alright everybody, you got the rear diff off, and the cover off, I'm sorry. But I'm surprised, it looks pretty clean. I wasn't sure how well it would look. I thought it might be kind of beat up from just a little bit of grudge there. Not a surprise. Let's see. Nice thick oil. But overall, I mean, I don't see any chunks, or the wear seems to be pretty good. So down the road, once we get done with the we're ready to do the swap on the Firebird for the LS, we'll go ahead and try to stick this in and swap over to the 9802 brakes as well, because that'll be nice. And then yeah, go from here. But I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. I'm going to use some plastic wrap and just cover it up. Now it's supposed to be a 342. I'm not totally sure on that. But what I do know is it is super clean. This looks, look at that, almost mint. So that looks a lot newer, honestly. So I don't know, but it looks good. I'm happy with that. So that's one reason we bought that parts car as well, just to have that 342. Gives you a little extra bump in takeoff power without as much fuel consumption as 373s, as much fun as that would be. Alrighty, so before my hands get super dirty, here's the original Diff. You know what those look like. And we're going to go ahead and get everything switched around. One thing I'm noticing is that with the emergency brake tie downs, we kind of lose the ability to bracket those down to a degree. At least there's no provision for that within the other diffs. So trying to think about what I'll do for that. You see, we probably got some front pinion gear. Either that or there's too much fluid in there, which is possible. So, but yeah, so gonna get that old crusty one out and get it cleaned up, prep it, clean off my goo. It's got lots of silicone, should be clean, and get that clean and go from there. I thought about doing the trans fluid, but we're cooling our jets on that for a minute. The trans has got 200K on it, you guys know that already, but don't want to swap it out and then it doesn't look too dirty just yet. So anywho, so enough rambling, time to get to work. New diff coming soon, a new diff cover. Alright everybody, so we got the new gasket on, we got it gooped up, probably too much goop, but you can see I probably didn't learn from my lessons. That one's pretty goopy, except for this side right here. That tore off pretty well, so that's probably where my leak was. I don't think it ever quite adhered right there. So, but yeah, the gears look pretty good. We'll take you on a ride for that. There's a Buick shrouded, kind of like the a mummy there, shrouded in its esophagus. There we go. I did not jack this up high enough. Anyways, alright, so I still gotta clean my gasket here. But from what I could tell, no weird wear patterns. Now, you know, we're not pushing that much horsepower, and I'm being kind of easy on it launching. So, thankfully, with this cover, a couple things it'll just look cooler. Plus, it was free. Plus, we need to change the fluid on this anyways, because when it was leaking, I think I was filling it back up with regular Valvoline with the limited slip additive. So we got 2 quarts of Lucas full synthetic to put in there. So just gotta clean off the rest of the edge here, spray the our gears down with some brake clean, see what they look like, and we'll bolt it back up. So we got Allen head bolts to go through there, so I'm gonna snug them up. They weren't really that tight on the other diff. I'm not gonna crank them down real heavy. We'll just get them nice and tight and even, and go from there. Then we'll jack up the diff itself so that it's level, and then start filling it up. So, all right. You've all seen how this works before. You know what we're doing. We'll catch up with you in a few. Alrighty, everybody. So there's the cover. We got it on. Gooped up our gaskets and put on there. And when I was putting it on, I thought, what about these load bolts right here? What about these dudes here? I thought, well, maybe those need to be adjusted, and I hadn't thought about that when I put it on there. So I looked up some instructions real quick, and B&W, because they built a similar cover, what they recommend doing is obviously loosen your jam nuts here, and then I went ahead and backed both bolts out. And what they suggest doing, just to help keep the premature wear from your diff inside, is to run this bolt until it gently taps the carrier housing. You know, you don't crank it down. Once you feel the end of that bolt, it has that soft swivel on it. You just leave it right there and tighten it finger tight, and then tighten these jam nuts finger tight as well. So I'm glad I thought about that, because I did need to go in farther with these bolts than what they were set at. So definitely something to consider there when you're putting these on. Since I got it used, obviously didn't have instructions, and I hadn't looked up the information until just now. So that is you don't want to crank on it and getting too tight, because you do need to have some room for play on your carrier bearing housing there, if I'm using that term correctly. So just a little detail to hopefully keep it alive. I thought about that. I was like, ooh, I need to be careful about that. So tip for today. Now I'm going to put some of our Lucas oil in there, and I'm going to raise it up a little bit with the jack so it's level, and then put our oil in, and I'm going to swap the tires. I've got a little bit of wander, I feel like, on the front tire, so we're going to swap the fronts to back, and see if that helps the ride any better. And should be good for another test and tune soon. So, alright, here we go. Alright, everybody, the diff is in. We got the fluid in there. It took right under 2 quarts, so what's that, 64 ounces, so it might have taken, I don't know, probably 58 or 60 ounces, so looks like we're pretty good at the moment. So we will set her down from there, but it looks cool. We'll give you updates if there's anything weird that goes on, and go from there.